SCOOB! Do you realize where we are?
No.
Look around, man! The clean, modern aesthetic, the cool blue color palette. We're in
IKEA.
the Falcon Fury! Did you say IKEA?
Nope, I said Falcon Fury, just like you.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Shaggy and Scooby were taken?
Yeah. This blue light came down from the sky and beamed them up.
I can't breathe.
I have to assume that if they were with their friends, they wouldn't have been kidnapped.
Okay, can you skip the emotional punishment?
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another Film Optics movie review. And today we are going to be reviewing SCOOB.
Yoinks.
Yoinks. I had to do that. Raggy. Sorry, I couldn't really help myself there. But I'm your host, Christian, and joining me is my co-host, Devin. How's your weekend been, man? Just been hanging out?
Yeah, just hanging out, watching Scoob, playing Control a little bit.
Yeah, pretty much same here. I did a nice little live stream of The Last of Us yesterday. I might do a little bit today, to be honest, because there's honestly, like, when it comes to streaming, I mean, I'm not like the best at it by any means, but there's something about streaming on a Sunday. It's just like a nice chill day. You know, you got nothing else really going on, you know, just preparing for the week, getting all your chores done or whatever else you need to do out of the way, and just streaming, just having a nice little chill Sunday stream. But But yeah, my weekend's been pretty good though. I got some nice new headphones. They feel very weightless. They're actually amazing. So that's pretty cool. And yeah, watch some Scoob. So before we begin today's review, you can listen to this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, Google Music, Anchor, Podbean, and iHeartRadio, as well as TuneIn. So I actually forgot to address this on our previous news show, but the winner of our Skywalker Saga Digital Code giveaway was actually one of my friends that I met through Twitter, BamTube TV. Excuse me. Definitely go check out his content. He is an amazing YouTuber. Has a lot of great content on his channel, and congratulations to him. It was weird because it was only for US and Canada only, and I forgot to put that in there. So like the first 5 people that I drew through Gleam.io were from like Germany, the UK. It wasn't going to work. And then I just kept drawing until I found someone, you know, either in America or Canada. And BamTube TV is Canadian. So
It's fate.
It's fate. Yeah. So congratulations to him on that. But let's start our review here. I wanted to ask you, Devin, did you want to do more of a, more of a non-spoiler and then get into the spoiler section? And, of course, since this is a PG movie, let's try not to cuss if we can help it. Yeah, for the kiddos out there, because it is a great kids movie. I guess let's just do a little bit of a non-spoiler section, you know, and then we'll just head into our spoiler section. So, I wanted to get your first thoughts about the movie because you just watched this yesterday, right?
Yeah, last night.
So, yeah. Go ahead, give your thoughts and feelings. And
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I was not a fan. I was really hoping they were gonna pull this one off. The trailers looked promising. I like the voice acting cast they got, but then the movie we got, they just made some mistakes that we'll talk about later.
I'm sad to hear that, Devin. I actually really liked it. And I read online that this movie was very divisive across the Scooby fan base. And I think I know why, but I kind of knew something's going in. It wasn't necessarily a spoiler. It was a movie that they actually, or like a TV special that they did of Scooby's origin. And I think that's the reason why people are a little weirded out about it. I love the trailers as well. And I was very pumped for this movie. And for everyone out there, SCOOB is available on video on demand. That's just the digital version of the film. You can find it at any major any retailer between like Amazon, Vudu, iTunes, et cetera, et cetera. And it's $20 to rent for a 48-hour period. And it's only for an extra $5 you can own it. So I actually thought that was a pretty nice marketing ploy for this movie going in, because I know a lot of people are kind of iffy about the whole, spend $20 on watching it for a 48-hour period. And then people would say, oh, well, you spend that much at a movie theater. And I'm like, I mean, yeah, I spend that much at a movie theater, but not for a ticket itself. But that's just because we both have, or had until further notice, the AMC. Rip, yeah. Well, hopefully Amazon will pick them up. That was a very, very interesting rumor there. But yeah, I mean, like you said, I did enjoy the voice casting a lot. I didn't even look to see who was in this movie until afterwards. But I thought it was pretty. I thought it was a perfect family movie that kids can enjoy, and I love the animation as well. It was amazing, and it was a movie not about the bad guys or the quote unquote the villains, because with Scooby Doo with the shows, the moral lesson between it is that that there are no such things as monsters. It's humans who are the monsters themselves. Hence, the unmasking and what have you. But
Old Man Jenkins.
I would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for you meddling kids. But yeah, that's pretty much all I had to say. Overall, generic wise, I love the story beats. It was a bit cheesy at times, but the music, the soundtrack was fantastic. The jokes I thought landed a lot. A lot of pop culture references, and again, Harry Potter reference. So they got me there. But yeah, let's. Did you want to just head on into our spoiler section now?
Yeah.
All right, everyone. So we're gonna head into the spoiler section. I'm gonna play a quick little clip of the movie, and then that'll just indicate into our spoiler section. So here we go.
We'll go in the haunted house this one time, but we're not gonna make a habit out of this, right, Scoop?
Right?
Hello? Anybody home?
Here you go, Shaggy.
Great, thanks a bunch. Let's go.
It's the ghost!
Guys, there's no such thing as ghosts. I don't think this is a good idea.
All right, and we are back. So from here on out, these are we're going to be talking all spoilers, everything for Scoob, and let's just dive right in, man. So Scooby is like a descendant of like Alexander the Great's dog, which kind of comes back to what I was saying in the non-spoiler section. There was a TV special. I actually watched the movie from the film theorists. It came out a few days ago before the movie, and he was explaining how Scoob is like, quote unquote, like an alien, and apparently there's this really weird special with Scooby-Doo. It's just pretty much explaining why Scooby can talk. Do I think it's needed? No. I mean, it's interesting, but I didn't really necessarily think that was needed. But yeah, what were your thoughts about the movie now that we can kind of talk about it freely?
Yeah, my biggest issue with the movie is that it's really not a Scooby-Doo mystery movie. Mm-hmm. It's basically they basically just use this movie to set up their Hanna-Barbera universe, which is so strange and not needed, because at the first 15 minutes of the movie I really enjoyed, because it's the gang getting together, solving mysteries, having fun. That's what Scooby-Doo is. But then they all get split up, and then these new characters come in, and we don't really care about these characters, but they force them upon us. Like, what is his name? Blue Falcon and Dino Mutt.
Please, sir. Blue Falcon was my father. No.
And DD Skies. Like,
yeah.
They just like went away from the formula of Scooby-Doo, like solving mysteries, and then they just put them into like a weird superhero movie, and it just did not work, I don't think.
Okay. I definitely understand where you're coming from. I think the reason why I liked it so much was because it wasn't just another, classic Scooby-Doo, mystery solving movie. It was more of, it was a mystery between, within the group themselves. And obviously with the mystery, it's probably Scooby and, why can he talk and why is he like special, blah, 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 blah. I mean, that was like common, like kids trope stuff. That's more of, I feel like that part of the movie definitely appeals more to kids than adults. But I do agree, the first 15 minutes was amazing. It was, it was heartfelt. It kind of, so I didn't know, like, is Shaggy's real name? What was it? Did he say? Oh my gosh. He said his real name was like, I think it started with a Z or something, Zelliot or something like that. And then he's like, oh, but like all my friends call me Shaggy. We see that, Shaggy doesn't really have a lot of friends growing up, and, he runs into Scooby in some classic wacky way. And I don't know what it is. The whole officer scene when he's like, oh, is this your dog? And he's like, what's his first name? He's like, Scooby, middle name. And I was like, okay. Like, it is funny, but then, like, kind of explains right after he gives, Scooby Dooby Doo. And he was like, oh, well, there's, like, if the pet has a middle name, then I can't do anything about it. Sorry, those are the rules. Like, it was weird, but it was wacky and funny at the same time, because that's just something you would expect from, like, a kid's movie. It doesn't need to be, like, a lot of explanation, especially for a family movie. But I do hear what you're saying. I just feel I really just like the others. They kind of went a different direction with it, but
it just feels like the gang took a back seat. Like they barely did anything in the movie, and these new people just came in and did everything.
Yeah. Okay. And I could definitely see that. I think Daphne's. You had Simon there, and they're trying to create their.
Oh boy, that Simon joke really went on for a while.
I actually thought it was pretty funny because especially when
he's just so irrelevant nowadays. Like, what is? It's so weird.
It should have been someone from The Voice. I feel like that would have been more of a updated, reference.
It's just so random.
Yeah, it really was like Simon Cowell. But like, what I really enjoy is when they find, when Scooby and Shaggy first meet Simon, and then they just bust out "Shallow" from A Star Is Born.
That was funny.
Yeah, but I like I said, the song choices were like amazing. As soon as it starts off, you get the Warner Brothers signal, and then it switches straight over to WAG Studios or whatever it was. And then, you get the California bump in and whatnot. So that was awesome. But, yeah, I mean, Simon being there, I guess they just had to throw someone in there. And it's like, oh, why not just have someone there that people recognize? I mean, do kids recognize who Simon Cowell is? Probably not. No
way.
Maybe it should have been like someone like Ninja or something like that. I don't know.
Oh, God.
I mean, he appeals to kids. I know. I don't like him either. He appeals to kids, like, definitely. But, it's obviously Shaggy and Scooby are like the glue or like the heart that keeps the game together, because everyone else, Velma, Daphne, and Fred are so, sound and they're more logical. But, I mean, it was, like, I guess I've been going on for this for a while, but what did you think of the villain, Dastardly? Dick Dastardly.
The villain was like surprisingly had depth. Like something you just would not expect in a Scooby-Doo movie, but the villain had like a pretty interesting backstory and actually had solid motivations, which was weird, but kind of a pleasant surprise.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say so.
Like he was trying to find his long lost. What was that? Was it a dog? I don't even know
Yeah,
what that was.
well, have you did you recognize the dog? 'Cause the dog, like, that's part of Warner Bros. Like, I don't know, I can't remember. If
And I think all these characters are like in past properties, but
Yeah.
I never really watched.
Yeah, I've definitely, I definitely, Dick Dastardly and then his dog, and I've seen them around before, and it's obviously definitely like a Warner Brothers property. I've seen them a lot on Boomerang when I was like growing up, but that was like before our time when it came to cartoons. Obviously, Scooby Doo in itself has been remade for newer generations. I remember What's New Scooby Doo. That was like kind of our, or at least my introduction to Scooby-Doo. I mean, like, I knew about the other ones, but it was a more updated version, and you had all the Scooby movies and whatnot. But yeah, I would definitely agree. Dick Dastardly definitely had a lot of depth, played by Jason Isaacs, and I actually didn't realize Will Forte was played by so I guess his name is Shaggy Rogers. Is that Shaggy? His last name? But like, yeah, okay. But he said his name was something else when he was a kid. Do you remember that? And he's like, "But all my
I remember it said something, but I don't remember what it was.
Yeah, but
It was weird though.
and also I wanted to, so is Velma Hispanic? Because she kind
They
of
sure made her seem like it in this movie.
yeah. I mean, it's fine, but it's just I just thought
I mean,
she
it's
was,
obviously the voice actress is Gina Rodriguez, so
yeah.
she's obviously Hispanic. So I don't know if she tried to make her seem that way or if it was a character choice. But
Yeah, I don't know. But I
kinda
definitely
it seems like they just threw it in there.
Okay, yeah, and that's what I was thinking. I was like, maybe it was just kind of like a one-off type of thing, because I'm like, I don't know if they've ever yeah, like they're white. Like I don't really need to know like that much of a backstory, but it works. It's whatever. But Zac Efron as Fred was actually I'm surprised I didn't recognize his voice. Like I actually liked Fred a lot in this movie.
I just wish he like actually did stuff. He
Yeah.
didn't really do anything.
Yeah, I mean, the rest of the gang is, essentially trying to figure out what happened to Shaggy and Scooby, and then, it was mainly focusing on them, which I totally get. And then you get Ken Jeong as Dino Mutt.
He just
AKA Mr.
carried the whole team.
He literally did. I did like Daphne's one scene when they go to the bowling alley. And they're talking to the employer there or whatever, and she's like yeah, like they were taken by like these evil guys, and then Daphne's like I can't breathe. I don't know why I thought that was funny, but she was like so flustered that Shaggy and Scooby were like taken by like these unknown people, or like the Blue Falcon or whatever. She was just like so flustered. I don't know why. I just thought that was a really funny like one-off type line that she had there.
I think one of the funniest jokes was when they're at the bowling alley talking to that employee, and she was like, "Yeah, they took this guy who started off sentences with like a lot," and then I think it might have been Daphne who was like, "It's almost like it was an old man who thinks that's what a teenage hippie sounds like."
Yeah. It's like, yeah, I would assume if their friends would have been with them, they probably would not have been taken.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God. And then Velma was like, all right, enough of the emotional punishment. Let's focus here. But yeah, I will say one of the sorry, I'm looking at IMDb, and it's just really funny and weird when it's like Simon Cowell voices Simon Cowell. But like obviously, yes, that was him. But yeah, I will say I do agree with you when you're talking about how the gang took a back seat on this, which they definitely did. Besides, I actually thought he was. I thought he was good enough. Like I thought he was funny. Like he's kind of that coward who resembles Shaggy in a lot of ways. And I do like how they went into depth with, when Shaggy and Scooby first meet Blue Falcon, they're like, "You're not Blue Falcon, it's just a little bit different," and he has all this stuff. And then Dynamite's like, "Oh, like I told you that, people wouldn't recognize you." And he's like, "I'm Blue Falcon's, the original Blue Falcon's son." And I really like it how they kind of related Shaggy to Blue Falcon, just because, well, especially with Blue Falcon, when, he's saying, "Hey," he's like, "I'm not my father." He's like, "There's all this extreme pressure on me to, become a part of the team." And obviously Shaggy and Scooby kind of felt useless within their own team, especially when, they're trying to make the Mystery Van or Mystery Inc. A successful business. And they felt like, they didn't really have their own real role within their own group. And I feel like Blue Falcon felt the same way, because you had Dynamite and Dee Dee Skies, doing all the work, and he's just kind of there, but like he's kind of a mess up, like Shaggy. And even when Shaggy was like, when Shaggy was like grilling him about the, trying to figure out why he needs his father approval, I thought that was really good. But what did you think of Blue Falcon?
I thought he was all right. It was kind of weird at the end how he just like kind of became a superhero.
Yeah,
like out of nowhere.
Yeah, because he was white.
I did really like Dynamite. Thought he was pretty cool.
Oh yeah, he was actually pretty sweet, and it was funny how like Shaggy and Scooby like right off they're like, "Oh my god, that's Dynamite!" Like Blue Falcon never leaves the goes out on adventures or solves crimes without him. And then Dynamite, he's like, "Oh, it's like I told you, this is kind of a weird situation." But I thought like when Blue Falcon was like, "Oh, him you remember, but you can't recognize me." And it's like, well, yeah, if you change up your suit a little bit, it's from super fans, they're gonna take notice to that for sure. But what did you think of the Cerberus at the end?
I thought it looked kind of rough. I don't know if that's just me, but it was just like weirdly green. It just didn't look great.
Yeah.
I thought the animation in general was kind of inconsistent. Like some parts looked really good, but then some parts looked like a weird YouTube kids channel.
Yeah, there's that weird kind of like still image / not still image. It's kind of like with, I think it's like Star Wars like Galaxy Adventures or something on YouTube, where the animation looks good, but at the same time it's kind of off. But yeah, I don't know. I would have to watch it again to see if I noticed that, because when I was watching it, I thought it looked fine, but maybe it was just the kind of TV I had or something. I really don't know.
Whenever I saw Dick Dastardly on screen, I just kept thinking of the Lazy Town villain.
Oh yeah, what was his name?
Robbie Rotten.
That's right. Wasn't he like all about like not exercising or something? I can't remember. It was something weird.
Yeah, something like that.
But I think, oh my god. So I guess what was like your like the funniest part in the movie to you, or like your favorite moment?
Either the bowling alley scenes or the shallow scene that you mentioned.
Yeah, the shallow scene was great. I think my favorite moment from this movie was when the gang gets pulled over by Dick Dastardly, but he's like a super attractive cop. And, Fred just drools all over him. And then he finally reveals that, he's Dick Dastardly. And he's like, "I'm so confused and I have so many questions." He was thrown. It was like his entire world just like was crashing around him. I thought that was pretty funny. But yeah, that and the bowling alley scene for sure. But yeah, the shallow. And I was very surprised they put that in there. But also when they're kids, and Shaggy's trying to figure out what Velma was for Halloween. And I forgot which court justice she said. And he was like, oh, he's like, are you a character from Harry Potter? He's like, which house are you? He's like, Gryffindor. And she said the person's name, and he's like, oh, Slytherin.
Yeah.
Well, like I've heard that person's name before, and I hear they're very ruthless. And as soon as he said Slytherin, I was like, yeah, that makes sense. But really quick, what did you think of the cavemen? Like,
see, my parents like mentioned seeing him in the trailer, or like, because I'd never heard of him before, but apparently he was in like kids cartoons and like a while ago.
Oh, was he? Oh, so you watched it with your parents?
No, but I watched it with my sister.
Oh, okay, got you. Yeah, for sure. What else is that?
I mean, it was Tracy Morgan, so that was pretty funny.
Yeah, that was pretty fun. He was like crazy strong though. Like, you know, he had to get those 3 dog heads, and I thought the big reveal was like, oh yeah, you know, Scooby's like an alien from like it's a descendant of like this alien entity, and you know they can't take forms of humans. They can only take forms of like, you know, dogs or like you know, other creatures, which happens, and it's a Scooby-Doo special that happened. I can't remember the name of it. If anyone knows, leave it in the comment section down below on YouTube, or tweet at us and let us know. But yeah, I'll have to link you that video as well from Film Theorist. It came out a few days before the movie. I think it was like Wednesday or Thursday or something like that. So, and I was kind of reluctant to click on it, and then he had started off, you know, just talking about Scooby-Doo, and it was like how there's 2 different parallel. You'll just have to watch it. It's pretty cool. But would you watch this film again or no?
Probably not.
Okay, I got you. I would for sure if someone hasn't seen it. I would definitely sit down. In a group setting, I would probably want to watch.
I mean, if you got kids over, you pop this thing on, and they are good to go.
Set. Yeah, or even like, okay, so when I went to my uncle's a few months ago, I was hanging out with my cousin and him and his girlfriend and a few of his friends had never seen Venom. And I'm not the biggest fan of Venom, but they were trying to figure out the way to watch it. So I just popped it up on my laptop, connected it to their TV, and I was like, hey, like, I thought, I don't think I had it through Vudu, but I found a site that had like a pretty good quality version of it. So, but like, it was a lot of fun just watching it with other people and seeing what their reactions were. But I definitely wouldn't watch like a movie like Scoob or Venom by myself. It would definitely have to be in like a group setting, because it's just one of those movies that it's more enjoyable when you have multiple people watching it at once.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
you just look at each other during the jokes and
yeah.
see if they landed or not.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's like it's great to get out of it. And it really does give like, us a chance to see other people's like initial reactions, or when someone's like, oh, like I've seen this movie and blah 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 whatever. But yeah, there was actually there's a podcast, upcoming podcast called Cinema District. Been talking to their creators over there on Twitter, and they would definitely like to collab with us at some point in time, do some movie reviews, which is awesome. We're always down for that. And they had listened to our review of Little Women. I was like, oh wow, like it's cool to have other people listen to your stuff and give their thoughts and opinions on it, like their initial reactions. But would you want let's get into final scores then?
Yeah.
All right, out of 100,
Scooby snacks.
Yeah, out of 100 Scooby snacks, what would you give Scoob?
55.
A 55? Oh man, like that's a bummer, dude.
I just wish they didn't make it a Hanna-Barbera universe setting up movie, and they made it an actual Scooby-Doo mystery solving and the gang involved movie.
It would have been cool if they had like a more in-depth mystery that they had to solve.
Yeah. Because like we mentioned, the first 15 minutes we both really liked it, but then they just immediately went away from that.
Yeah, they did. It was kind of like another thing. I actually forgot to mention this during the non-spoiler section. The intro that they do after during the montage, after like the first 15, 20 minutes, we're like, oh, we should do this more often. That's like cut for cut, like the original Scooby-Doo intro, which I
knew
really like.
little kid me recognized that.
Yeah, and especially
all
the way
those monsters.
Yeah, and the way the way that they were running, the way Shaggy kind of like leans forward and runs, the way that he does. I thought that was really awesome, like for sure. But so you gave it a 55. I'm going to give it a solid 75. I know on Letterboxd I gave it a 4 out of 5, but their rating system's a little bit different. But I'll give it a solid 75 out of 100. I really did enjoy this movie. I think it's the perfect family movie. I think it's better than the Willoughbys. I honestly think it's one of the best animated movies that we've seen this year. I mean, definitely Onward was a lot better.
Yeah, my sister was like, "This might be the best movie I've seen this year," and I was like, Onward, hello. Onward would like to have a word.
Right. It was like, hello. But yeah, I would. I mean, we've been doing a lot of the reviews that we've been doing so far have been animated. Just overall, I kind of was looking back. I was like, oh wow, like we did one for this is our SCOOB review. Did one for Star Wars Clone Wars season 7. We did one for Solar Opposites, the Willoughbys.
Our next review is turning live action.
Yeah, our next review is live action.
Getting a little raunchier.
Oh yeah. So we got some nice Lovebirds will be our next review. That comes out coming up Friday, May 22nd. So and that'll be coming out on Netflix, which I'm actually very excited. And
yes, it's so much easier.
You know what? Like for smaller films, do you find it easier just to watch them at home, or would you rather watch them in the theater, or would you rather just watch blockbusters, save those for like the bigger movies for theater events?
I'd always just rather watch it in the theater.
Yeah,
it's just the experience.
Yeah, that is true. Because I feel like if I watched SCOOB in a theater, I probably would have liked it more, and I probably would have gave it a little bit more of a higher score because you get everyone's initial reaction. I kind of go back and forth sometimes because, I mean, going to the movie theaters, decades ago was more of like, it was like an event, like back when, like motion pictures were first like popping up and, people would get dressed up, go to the theater and watch watch a film. Now it's obviously more laid back, more lax. I definitely do miss the theaters. There might once this whole COVID-19 is over, I'm not gonna lie, there is gonna be like a little part of me is kind of like, man, I wish I could just watch like the films that I know that I'm probably not gonna really enjoy if I can just watch those at home, and then for I would say mid-tier and up, watch all of those in the theaters. But I mean, who's to say what this might be the new business model moving forward? We don't know. I'm hoping a lot of these studios don't pull a Universal and get canned from Regal and AMC theaters. So I don't know. We'll have to see. But I think I've gone on here long enough. So that was our review of SCOOB. I wanted to thank Devin, as always, for coming on and reviewing this with me. And as we said before, we will be reviewing Lovebirds. It comes out coming up Friday. So that will be our next review for this coming up Sunday. And of course, you can check out our previous news show where we talk everything Mandalorian. And just Robert Pattinson being we actually forgot about that with him trolling fans saying that he's not going to work out for Batman, but yeah,
he fooled them.
He did. But not only do we have Lovebirds coming out next week, the week after that, 10 days from now, we will be watching HBO Max. Devin, comes out on a Wednesday, so that definitely gives us enough time to sit down with the with the streaming software and kind of give our first thoughts. So that'll be on Sunday, May 31st will probably be our HBO Max review, and then the 24th coming up will be our Lovebirds review. So that pretty much does it for this podcast review. Again, you can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Play. If you're listening, give us a like and a subscribe on YouTube, or if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, rate us and review us. Let us know how, if you like our stuff, how we sound, and, we definitely want to, I've said it time and time again, we just want to give you guys the best entertainment, the best podcast content that we can deliver. Definitely would like to start doing that a little bit more and more, but also really quick, I will be joining in the Music City Drive-In on a live podcast coming up later today. I guess they want to talk about the 2017 Oscars and all the snubs from that year. So I've been slowly making my list throughout the day. So that'll be fun. I think they'll be streaming that on YouTube. I think they have a YouTube channel, but I'll let you know. I'll tweet out about it. And again, you can follow us on Twitter, Film Optics. Optics is spelled OPTIX. Same thing with Instagram. And we will see you guys in the next one.
Peace.
What's the Scooby-Doo? We're coming after you. You're gonna